Let me start by taking you back 20 years, almost 20 years, to July 2003, when I was a first-year graduate student in Memphis, Tennessee. So one morning, around 6:30, I was rudely awakened when a tree crashed on my roof and my ceiling fan came about 6 inches from my head. Now, fortunately, I was unscathed, but my beloved white Toyota Tercel that I'd purchased for $2,100 by saving all my tips from working as a server at Applebee's during college was not so fortunate. It was crushed to within a foot thick. Later we learned that unpredicted Category 2 hurricane-level winds of 100 miles an hour whipped through our area, causing death, destruction, and a lot of damage. Now, this was an awakening to me to the realities of climate change. And since then, we've had numerous other tragedies and pandemics and so on. But these also provide us an opportunity to come together as a community to support each other. And in my case, I was fortunate and I got through with the love and support of my friends, family, and my community. But this made me realize that there is not going to be a silver bullet to these problems, nor is some lone genius going to drop from the skies and give us the answers we need. But instead, we're again going to have to come together as a community where we pool our diverse ideas, experiences towards innovative solutions to these persistent problems. And we're also going to need to leverage advances in technology to augment our innate human capabilities. So we're going to need teams of humans and technology to figure out new ways to effectively collaborate with each other. We're going to need superhuman teams. And this idea inspired the National Science Foundation's Institute for Student AI Teaming, or Artificial Intelligence Teaming, that I direct. Now, iSAT reflects one of our nation's largest investments in cutting-edge AI technology applied to solve problems of broad societal impact, and we are the inaugural institute here at the University of Colorado Boulder. We are a hub that brings together more than 50 researchers, students, and staff from 15 different areas across 9 universities who are collaborating with our local school districts, industry, and other community leaders to think about ways in which we can reimagine how technology can be integrated in classrooms to make learning more effective for all students. So one of the problems and challenges we're taking on is how do we make youth better collaborators? And we're doing this by developing technologies which we call AI partners, or artificial intelligence partners, that work with teachers and students to help them learn more effectively, engagingly, and equitably. Now we realize that we want to clarify that AI will never, can, should, or will replace teachers. But instead the goal is to take what computers do best, which is finding patterns in large volumes of data, with what humans do best, and that's nurturing and caring for each other. So to illustrate, one of the things that teachers always tell us is that it's really difficult and challenging for them to orchestrate the classroom for collaborative learning for the sole reason that they can't be omnipresent, so they're unaware of all the conversations occurring at the individual student groups. But an AI partner can indeed be omnipresent, can listen in on those conversations, help scaffold them along, and at the same time, distill critical nuggets of information back to the teacher, such as what are the topics that are really exciting youth, so then they can use this information for further classroom orchestration. Now, we're also aware that incorporating AI or artificial intelligence in classrooms has profound implications for privacy, security, ethics, and dignity. So we're committed to AI justice, and that acknowledges, or it starts by acknowledging, that any harms from these technologies typically impact our historically marginalized communities the most. So they should, also benefit from any of the awesome potential of technology. And we do this through a process of co-design, where the technology is co-developed with the youth and teachers from these marginalized communities, so they themselves have a stake, and it's a part of the design decisions and not an afterthought. So we do this by organizing what we call Learning Futures workshops, where we invite youth of color for intense day-long engagements to have expansive views of how technology can support collaboration in classrooms. As one example, we took youth on a tour of a 70-person cooperative house. So they can think about and see how collaboration unfolds in the real world and outside of the grammar of schooling. And then they learned this important idea called community agreements, where house members co-construct norms of behavior and then hold each other accountable. And this led to a shift in youth thinking, from disciplining themselves to coming together and agreeing on how to behave, and then having accountability to these mutual agreements. And this inspired one of the youth-created designs of the AI partner, and this one's truly my favorite. It's called the Live, Love, Light device. And the basic idea is for students and teachers to negotiate what are their norms of collaboration and agreement in their classrooms, such as respecting each other, having equitable interactions, advancing their learning community. More than that, they also identify indicators of these norms, such as avoiding curse words, praising peer students, and so on. And then the technology listens in on these conversations for evidence of those indicators, and when that's detected, the display lights up, thereby directing attention and reaffirming certain behaviors. And we've taken this design to heart and used it to implement one of our first versions of the AI partner called the Community Builder, a COBE, which addresses one of the core asks from the students. They want technology to help them develop stronger relationships with each other. Now, COBE is going to have to solve some really critical technical challenges because the classroom is a really, really noisy environment. So, for example, it needs to figure out who's speaking, who are they directing their speech to, what are they saying, what is the meaning of what they're saying, how are they expressing it, and what is the intent of that utterance. So to address these problems, we leverage and develop state-of-the-art advances in speech recognition, computer vision, natural language understanding, machine learning, and information visualization. Now, we also acknowledge that for most people, the ideas and views of AI come from the media, which portrays it as some futuristic superintelligence that'll either save humanity or destroy us all. But this fiction actually detracts from the reality that versions of AI are already here today. They are in our homes, they are in our cars, they are in our workplaces, and they're in our phones. So they're all around us. So we think it's really important that youth have a deep understanding of the nature, behavior, power, and consequences of AI systems, so they also feel empowered to contribute to the AI-driven workforce of the future. And one way we're doing this is developing curriculum for AI literacy that we're hoping to implement nationwide and eventually internationally to help youth understand and feel part and connected to the awesome power and potential of AI. So one example unit is called sensor immersion. Kids learn how computers can sense the world around them, and then they also learn how to wire and program sensors to solve problems in their community. And in one example, students first form groups, because everything is done collaboratively, where they become experts on individual sensors. So one group will become expert on a sound sensor, another one on an environmental sensor, and a third on a moisture sensor. And then they come together in what we call a jigsaw formation, where they pool their knowledge and they share information and then identify a critical need in their community and program a sensor solution to it. And we're also developing a version of the AI partner to support these jigsaw projects called Jiggy. And some of these youth-inspired projects are truly amazing. They involve figuring out how to fight wildfires using sensors, protecting wildlife, and better land management. So while it took a tragedy to open my eyes and shake me out of my bubble to the realities of climate change, our youth are living through these every day. But not just that, they're bringing their creativity, their passion, their ideas, and their commitment to solutions. And this fills me with hope, possibility, and joy. Because I know we'll be okay, because we're in good hands. Thank you.